What does it take to drill down and find your true, authentic voice? It's a process. It's not something that comes overnight. And if you're like me, you're probably still working on it. It's like, what's my real speaking voice? What's the message that I'm here to deliver to the world? And who's my audience that I'm going to deliver that to? Those are the three components to finding your voice. I mean, the first one's the most obvious, is like, am I speaking for real, or where in my body am I speaking from? Am I up in my nasal area? Up in my nose? Am I down in my mouth? Am I speaking from my throat? In the past, I've had a lot of issues with having a very constricted throat. Am I speaking from my heart? Am I speaking from my groin? Literally, those are different places in your body that you can be speaking from. And all of us choose the character that we are. It's like we choose who's our avatar. It's like, who am I going to be? Who am I going to present to the world? Who am I going to present to myself that I am? Who am I? What's the character I am? So I think it is true that all of us choose the character that we are. But I think it's also true that there's a character, a you in there. A compilation of all your experiences, genetic, make up your ancestral history, the family you grew up in, friends you've had, the people you hang out with. All of that amalgamation makes for a true you, even though it is the truth that you get to choose who you're going to be out in the world. There is a you that's more true than the other yous that you can pick. And so when you're looking for your voice, it's like you get to choose the voice you're going to speak with. Like, am I speaking from my throat? Am I speaking from my groin? Am I speaking from my heart? Am I up in my head? Where's this speaking coming from? I can choose that. But I can also be aware of, well, what's the most authentic, real version of me that I can speak from to you right now? The most important part of all that is to become aware of which part of your body is your speaking coming from right now. And so notice that for yourself when you're talking to a friend, a lover, an acquaintance, if you're on a video camera, is where is the speaking coming from? Is it coming out of, is it coming intellectually out of your head? Is it coming from your heart? Where is the speaking coming from? And there's a part of your body that is the more authentic. Like for me, coming from my heart is probably the most authentic, powerful, real place I can come from. There's certainly a power from speaking from my groin. That's a powerful place to come from. But probably the most difficult, in a way, the most difficult place for me to speak from is open-heartedly. And I like to think that while it's the most difficult for me, it's also the most real place for me to speak from. So speaking open-heartedly is, for me, my ground zero in my body of being my most authentic, real self. I noticed in the past, like 15 plus years ago, I was working on being very constricted in my throat and working on that constriction and opening that up. And that's been important to me in terms of the flow of energy moving through my body, in terms of me being able to stand in front of this video camera. It's been extremely important for me to be able to open up my throat, not have that be the blockage. So once you begin to get some awareness of your voice and where in your body you're speaking from, then the next step in the process of speaking in your authentic voice is, well, what's my message? What's your message? What's the message that flows through you? That's the authentic message, not the one that you kind of made up, or the one someone told you, or the ones you believe is your right message, or even the one that you're getting paid for necessarily. It's What's the message that's coming through you, that's your authentic message, that's your song to sing? What is your song to sing that wants to flow through you the way that the morning bird's song just flows from the bird in the morning from the tree, and they don't think about it, they just sing that song because that's their song. And I think all of us deep down want to know that we lived our life in a way that we didn't die with our song still inside of us. So when we're working on our authentic voice, it's like, what is it that I have to share to the world that A, is important to me, I'm passionate about, and B, I could make a difference in someone else's life by talking about it. And this topic of real authentic voice is that for me. It's something I'm passionate about because I'm working on it for myself all of the time. And I know that there's people like you who want to hear about this and are working on it for themselves as well. So what's the message that's your true, authentic message that you're here to deliver? And then the third part of authentic voice is going out and finding the audience for your message and for your voice. A lot of people aren't going to care about your message. They're just not going to care because it's not a message you're looking for. There are probably plenty of people who want your message, who are looking for your message, but they're not looking for it to come from your voice, from your energy, from you in particular. So they're also not your audience. But there is an audience for you, your voice, and your message. And that's the trick, of course. With social media, it's all there. The opportunity is all there to connect. I think once you drill down to your authentic voice, dig in deep and find your true message, and then do the work to present that as effectively as possible on social media, then the audience will appear. That's how I know it works. And so those are the three components. Drilling down and finding where in your body your speaking's coming from, what's your real voice that's the most real you that you can present. What's your message that you're here to share? And number 3, connecting with the audience that's the right audience for you and your message. Would love to hear from you in the comments about how this is working in your own life. Talk to you guys soon.